Today we're going to be taking a look at and reloading some 124 grain 9mm from Hoosier Bullets, and that's coming up next here on Jesse B Outdoors Reloading. Welcome back everybody, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below if you like videos like this. First off, I'd like to thank Hoosier Bullets for sending these out to the channel for us to try out. What they did was they sent us 500 124 grains. In a later video, we'll be looking at some 147 grains. And you guys have seen me previously load up some of their 45 ACP 200 grain semi-wad cutters. I really appreciate them helping out the channel for a little bit. Thank you, Hoosier Bullets. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the camera on in here. We're going to randomly pick 5 of these out, weigh them, and we're going to mic them and check the diameter on them. And then we're going to load 100 of them up on the Dillon 550C here. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh them here, and we got a baggie full of them here of the 500, and we're just going to reach in and I'm going to pick out 5 different ones, and we're just going to set them over to the side here, and we'll dig around here and grab our 5. There, you can see that there. Now you can see our scale is zeroed here. I'll try to move it up into the screen so we can see it better. Now these are 124 grain. So let's see how close they are. Right there we got 23.5, 23.9, 24.2, 24.1, and the last one here we've got 23.8. Not too bad, not too bad. Very close, and I like that when companies are close like that. Now let's get the diameter of them. Alright, you can see we're zeroed out here, and what we are going to do is get the diameter on these, and they're supposed to be 356. Right there you can see we got 356.5. Number 2 we'll try out here. Got 356.5. That 0.5 on the end, I'm not worried about that. 356.5 again. Just to make sure you guys can see it in the camera there. Number 4. Got 356.0. And the 5th and final one here. Got 356.5. Very consistent on that, just like on the weights. Gotta love it. Now let's go ahead and load some of these up. Now we're going to load these up here on the Dillon 550C here. I got you guys set up like this. You can't see my head, but that's the way I planned it because I want you guys to focus on this here. What we're going to do is load up 100 rounds. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 round in here, and I'm going to walk 1 round all the way through it in just case new reloaders don't know what's going on with this press. So the first station right here, we are sizing and depriming the brass. And then when we go down, we are pushing forward, and that is setting a brand new primer in there. So now we're going to move it over to the second station here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my locating pin here. I'm going to come over to my scale here, zero out my scale, and I'm going to double check my powder charge here and make sure it is on what I want. I'm not telling you my powder charge on this one because it really don't matter for this video, but I want to make sure it's dead on. This has been sitting for a little bit, so it is a little bit over. That's why we need to check it. So we'll try it again. Make sure. And you always want to push forward, mostly if you have the safety rod on your powder measurer. Alright, it was a little bit lower that time. Try it one more time and see if we get on what we want here. Alright, looks like I might have to make an adjustment on it. Let me make sure we are zeroed out here. Try it one more time. There we go. Now we're at the number I want. I like verifying this. This is just the way I am. I'm very picky on this. I like to have my reloads as consistent as possible. And we are good to go on that. So now what I'm going to do is put my locating pin back in. And we're going to move it over to the next station here. This is going to be the bullet seating and crimping die, but I only got it set up the bullet seat. So we will put our Hoosier bullet in there. We'll seat the bullet, and you can see it come around. Now I got a Lee factory crimp die, and we're going to crimp that bullet. And what we're going to do is, there's our very first round here with the Hoosier bullet. Let's check that out there. Now what I like doing is I like to keep one of my picky barrels right by, and I like to do what I call a plunk test. So we're going to drop it down in there, make sure it falls right out like it did. Drop it back in there, and you should be able to spin it. That way we know that the rifling is, or the bullet's not going into the rifling. So that's good to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing going full progressive. I'm going to move here. And what I'm going to do for the first few here, I am just going to get this going in full progressive mode. That means we will have one at every station here soon. And this is basically my progressive press for doing all this. Now we got our Hoosier bullet there, and we're going to be seating that. Alright, now we are in full progressive mode. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be quiet for a few, because I know people like hearing the press run. And we'll just run these here real quick. Alright, now to go over some of the equipment I'm using today, just in case you all want to know. I have my Dillon 550C on a inline fabrication quick mount setup. That way, if I want to switch presses, I could switch them out real quick. I love that from inline fabrication. You can see I am using a light here, and I've got it on the dim setting right now so it don't interfere with the video that much. The lighting is from KMS Square, and I do have a discount code down in the description for you guys for them, if you guys want to pick up any lighting for your presses. And then most of the dies that I'm using on here today are RCBS carbide dies. Of course, I'm using the Dillon one for the expanding and powder drop. And then on the end, I'm using a Lee factory crimp die. Gotta love that. And then you can see I'm using a roller handle from Dillon. I ended up buying that at the same time I bought the press. Really like that setup. Something you can't see here because it's on my powder measurer. I use the Armanoff quick detach powder measurer. And then up on top of for the dial, I've just got a 3D printed eBay dial on there. I can't remember who made it. There's a bunch of them on there. But that's pretty much most of the equipment that I'm using today. I'm actually testing something out. Let me make sure we're good here on this press. And it has to do with dimming on the lights. Can't wait till I can tell you guys more about that. I've been testing it out and really liking it. But like I said, I got it on the dim mode right now so it don't blind out the camera. So that's a future video once I can tell you what that's all about, that you guys can see. But so far, one thing I am noticing while loading these up here, I can see it on this next bullet that's going to come out. I'll show you guys this. And this has nothing really to do with the bullets. It's more to do with the seating stem. Catch this one here real quick. It looks like my seating stem is digging into the hi-tek coating. I don't know if you guys can see that there or not. Kind of get a line on there. That has to do with my cedar though, not the bullet, but you can see it's putting a line on there. Just something I want to show you guys because I try to be honest with everything on here. Don't know if one of my lead dies would take care of that or not. I always run my RCBS dies in the Dillon, so I keep my lead dies set up for the turrets that are in my lead classic turret press. But you have that with different ogives of bullets on there. Just something for you guys to look out for in case you're ever messing with cast bullets. If you're running full metal jackets or plated, you'll see a line on them also, but it's not as noticeable on them. But so far, everything is running nice and smooth. These Hoosier bullets are looking great. I actually like that green they use. That's a pretty good green color. When I did the 45 ACPs, they were like kind of like a copperish color. But I see on their website they do use different hi-tek coatings for different caliber bullets. The 124gr 9mm that they sent me out to also have this green coating on them. But I definitely like the looks of them for something different. If you follow the channel, normally I cast my own bullets. And I use powder coating, so I'm used to having different color bullets. So that don't bug me one bit. I don't think the target really cares what color they are. But you do sometimes want to make them look cool. Now what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to do another powder check. So I'm going to pull that locator pin out. Zero out my scale again. I like doing this so often, just to make sure that everything is right. So now we're going to pull that up there. Seat our primer. Pull that round out here. Make sure we are where we want to be. And we are. We're totally good with that. Put our locator pin back in. It's one thing I like about the Dillon here. Everything is very easy to work with on it. Oops, I dropped my piece of brass. Everything's easy on it, but my finger's working. So now we will get rocking and rolling on these again. Now this kind of press here, if you haven't figured out, I just like talking about stuff in my videos, but this kind of press here, this is a perfect press for people who want a progressive, but they don't want to mess with the auto indexing, because you got to index it yourself. That's one reason why I kind of got it. I went from a lead Loadmaster to this. And anytime you mess up on the Loadmaster, basically you had to clear the shell plate off. And you don't have to do that with this. It's a lot more forgiving. And right now we are in June of 2024. I got this at the end of December 2023. Might have been, the first time I reloaded for it might have been January 2024. I absolutely love this thing. I was blessed enough that everybody over the holidays used my affiliate accounts, and I bought it with my affiliate money. So I thank you guys for that. And I was also blessed to be able to get conversion kits for every caliber that I reload for it. So that was pretty cool. Well, now I added a caliber. I now have a 44 Magnum. So sooner or later I gotta save up the money and get the conversion kit to do 44 Magnum on here. But like I said before, a lot of people have been asking, hey, where's the Dillon at? They've been seeing me on the Lee Classic Turret Press a lot lately. Basically, I bought this to do bulk reloading. So when I'm doing ladder tests and stuff, I like using my Lee Classic Turret Press or my RCBS Rock Chucker Supreme. I like using those. Now, there is people who do precision rifle on these. So when I come around to another ladder test on something I'm going to do that I got everything for it, we might do a ladder test on this just to see. And what we could do is we can run it like a turret press. I know one person who did that. I don't think he's doing videos anymore, but the reloader dude would run his Dillon 550 like that. He would run it just like he would his Lee Classic Turret Press. I wanted it more for stuff like this. That primer go in? Yeah, it went in pretty easy. Sometimes you gotta check that. But, you know, it's all what you're comfortable with, and that's what matters. You do what's good for you. Don't listen to anybody else when it comes to reloading. You just be careful, double check everything, and run the pace you want. As you can see here, I am not going real fast. I'm just going at a nice steady pace that I can watch my powder. Make sure that the powder is down in the case. And that's where that KMS squared lighting comes in. Very nice. I can see down in that shell pretty good even on the dim setting. Maybe at the end of the video we'll kick it up on bright just so you guys can see that. But we're moving along here and knocking these out. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to be quiet again so you can just hear the press. So as you can see here, as long as my fingers work, you can get into a pretty good groove on this press and knock these out. Gotta love it. I think these Hoosier bullets with the green bullets too, they look good against that blue press. I just thought that. I think that looks cool. Very, very nice how they did that green on there. I am very picky when it comes to the color green. I'm not a big fan of it, but I do like the green they used on this. Very nicely done. And we are kicking these out pretty quickly here. Gotta love that. So, you guys let me know down in the comment section, have you used Hoosier bullets before? And if you did, what calibers did you use? Did you like them? Do you still use them? So far, I haven't shot any yet. I need to get the 45s out that I made up and these. Loading them, which of course you shouldn't have no problem loading them. They seem pretty good to me. As always, every time you change a bullet, you gotta find out your case overall length on them, and that's what I did before this video on there. I've actually, this is the second 100 I'm doing on these. I loaded 100 up to get everything set up for this video, which I normally do. That way I know when I go to make the video, everything will run smoothly. Only adjustments I had to make, of course, was bullet seating for the bullets from the last 9mm I did. Because the last ones I did on here were probably bullets I bought, which would have been Armscore 124 grain full metal jackets. I picked those up at Republic Ammunition also. If you guys don't follow the channel, I'm a huge fan of Republic Ammunition because I live a half hour from them. And even though they're an online retailer, they let me go in and get stuff, and I appreciate that. So, pretty much everything I got from there is the primers we're using, the powders we're using. all came from there. So, huge shout out to Republic Ammunition. Appreciate them helping out the channel when they can, and by letting me go down there and buy stuff. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys, because a lot of times when I get bullets in, and they were sent to me, the company will give me a discount code. Now, this is one thing I kind of like about Hoosier Bullets. They said they couldn't give me a discount code, and you're going to say, well, Jesse, that ain't good. Why wouldn't they give you one? And it's because the owner told me, he goes, we tried to sell our bullets at the lowest possible cost. So if he did a discount code, he'd be losing money. So I kind of respect him for that, that he's trying to keep the cost down on these and make it cheaper for you guys as it is. So that's a real nice touch from Hoosier Bullets there. Just had to give him a little shout out for that, because I think that's pretty cool of a company to be like that. You can also follow them. I think they're on Facebook. I know they're on Instagram because I talked to them on Instagram. Check them out. I think they might be on X too. But they are on a lot of the social media sites if you want to check out like what they got going on. They also do training, so they got a lot of training stuff on there they show. They also, I'm pretty sure they do CCW classes too. So they don't just make bullets, they do a lot of things. But they are definitely 2A community backers. So you gotta love that. And looking at our primer rod, we should be getting down there pretty quick here on our 100. That's one thing about a progressive press, they make them go by pretty quickly, and you gotta love that. Oop, I think I just crushed the case. Yep, I did. That was my fault, I didn't feel it. That happens sometimes, mostly when you got a muscle disease and you can't feel that good. We'll throw that away later. So now what we're going to do is put another piece of brass in there. We are going to pull out the powder station one just to make sure no powder got into it, even though I can see most of the way down it. So we are good on that. And we'll go back up here and keep knocking these out. As you guys know, I really don't edit anything out on this channel because there is good to battery loading. And I like trying to help out new guys, and I want them to see stuff like that, that, hey, it happens even to the best of us. I know a lot of the other reloading channels, they don't show nothing bad. I leave it in there because that's part of reloading. And hopefully you guys can learn from that. What that was is, with my muscle disease, I can't feel the pressure quick. And basically by the time I felt the pressure, I already crushed it, is what happened with that. So now we've only got a few primers left in here. And what I do is I go up and I decap, and when I come down to set it, I come down to look and make sure there is a primer in the cup down here in the priming arm. That way I don't waste sending through a shell that has powder in it with no primer and waste powder. As we all know, that stuff is precious right now and ain't cheap. So I'm going to be quiet for the rest of these. Forgot to look. Yep, there's one in there. Oh, maybe there's not. You can feel it when there's not one in there. So we are out of primers now, so we are going to just kick the rest of these out. Go through these and finish this out. And then I'll show you what I like doing on the last round, which is this one right here. We are going to catch this one. And I like just doing this right now, even though I double check all these. I do another plunk test, make sure it falls out, and it does. So that's all of them loaded up. Let's go back up on top. So as you guys can see here, these are very consistent bullets on the weight and the diameter. That's very nice because I don't like having bullets that are all over the place and might not work. These, how accurate they are, I'm not sure of that yet. We'll have fun plinking with them though, and we'll test it out in future videos to see. But I think that bullet looks great with that green hi-tek coating. Once again, I'd like to thank Hoosier Bullets for sending these out to the channel for us to try out. I appreciate it. So as always, don't forget to check the links out down below. Down there I have links to Axle Hearing Protection, Gators Eyewear, and a bunch of other companies I like dealing with. If you are watching on Rumble, my link tree will be down there with even more links that I can put on there that I can't put on YouTube. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below. We are one nation under God, and I'll see you all on the next one.